Welcome to Beyond the Page, the official podcast of Choice, the magazine of professional coaching, where we bring you amazing insights and in-depth features you just won't find anywhere else. I'm your host, Gary Schleifer, and I'm excited to expand your learning as we dive into the latest article, have a chat with this brilliant author. Oh, it's that way if you're watching video. I always get the fingers wrong. And uncover the learnings that are transforming the coaching world. When you have a chance, join our vibrant community of coaching professionals as we explore groundbreaking ideas, share expert tips and techniques, and what we as coaches love most, make a real difference in our clients' lives. In today's episode, I'm speaking with coach and author Madeleine Blanchard, who is the author of an article in our latest issue, Coaching in Chaos. Her article is entitled Breaking Through the Chaos: Classic Coaching Tools to Help Leaders Thrive. A little bit about Madeleine. She holds an MSc, she's an MCC, and is the Chief Coaching Architect and co-founder of coaching services at Blanchard. She is a co-author of Blanchard Management Essentials and Coaching Essentials, Leverage Your Best, Ditch the Rest, the Coaching Secrets Top Executives Depend On, and Coaching in Organizations, all from the Ken Blanchard companies. Madeleine was a founding advising board member of and senior trainer for Coach University and a founding board member of the ICF. Thank you very much. Where she served for 6 years. She was awarded the 2022 CEO Today Executive Coaching Award and named one of 2024's top coaches in America by Top Coach. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've been so looking forward to this. Great article, great reminders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as your guest.
Yeah, no worries. So, what inspired you to write for us for this issue?
Well, I love to write for Choice. I wrote an article. In fact, someone from Choice asked me to write an article about the breaking the rules issue. Now, this is a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of coaches who were ICF certified or becoming ICF certified were kind of bumping up against this rule, this law almost, that that coaches aren't allowed to kind of share. I don't even want to use the word advice, but a lot of people think coaching is giving advice, and we unequivocally know that that's not true, right? The
Mhm.
idea is that we evoke the wisdom and the brilliance of the client. And sometimes you need to share information with clients.
Right.
It's almost like when you see people trying to solve a problem and there's a beautiful problem solving model that fits their situation perfectly, it's crazy not to share it, right? And we were working in these big organizations, and the clients were calling the sponsor saying, all my coach does is ask questions. This is not helping me. I thought I was going to learn something. And to be fair, maybe the coach wasn't asking the right questions.
Yeah.
That's possible. But sometimes you just really need to share some information
Mhm.
that's really going to help someone say, oh, okay, if I use this model to think through the situation, then I'll get to an idea of how to approach it more quickly, more efficiently, more effectively, etc. So I wrote that article for the, the Breaking the Rules. And I have to tell you, I've shared that article more than anything I've ever written.
Yay.
And so many coaches say, thank you. So thank you, Gary, for
Oh, you're
giving me
very
the
welcome. Thank you.
opportunity. But thank you for kind of telling the truth about what it's really like out there in real
Mhm.
life, especially working with people in organizations who who need to kind of cut to the chase. because they got real problems and they need to get as much out of their coaching minutes as they
Mm,
possibly can. So I've been a I've been grateful to write for Choice. Just kind of it's kind of the one place I feel like I can write about coaching and whatever's interesting to me in the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank
I get a
you.
lot out of reading it. I look forward to getting it, getting the magazine. I still get that hard copy.
Old school.
I
I know
think
there's
any
something
minute
about
I
it.
can write, any minute I can spend not looking at a screen,
Mm.
where I can just sit and my eyes, my eyes are
Rest
happy.
my eyes. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for being on screen today. And when you talk about that breaking the rules in this article, it's kind of like version 2.0 because you bring up some models in there. And it's so interesting because I've been introducing that Eisenhower model a lot lately, and I'm surprised at how many people don't know it and how many people find it so useful. And I also want to point out to our listeners and a reminder that it's about the sphere of control too. Like what I love is that you talked about, and it's a little off topic, we're all over the map, but that's okay, is what do you directly control? And it did jump all over the place, but I so resonated that what do you directly control? What can you influence and how, and what's outside of your control? And that really stuck in my head and had to talk about that over the Eisenhower model. So apologies to those listeners. But you're right. The first one and the second one we talk about all the time. What do you directly control? What's outside of your control? But that middle one, what can you influence and how, is one that I don't talk about as much, and I need to talk about more.
Right. And in the coaching, coaching technique, you don't even have to share that as a model.
Mm,
And same even with the Eisenhower Matrix. You can just use the models to inform your questions,
mm,
right? Like in the sphere of control, I mean, you could say, do you know this sphere of control model? I mean, you could do that. But you could also say, would it be interesting to you to just spend some time, really, of all the things that are making you feel cuckoo, just spend some time really looking at, where you're putting energy into stuff you have zero control over
mm.
and how you might redirect that energy to places where you do have control, or you might be able to influence. Anyway, you're going to ask that one question at a time, obviously.
Mm.
But you can, if you propose the kind of exercise, it's still questions, right?
Mhm.
But and you do have to get the client's buy-in to go down that road. And I've proposed that. And they're like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that. The thing I really want to talk about is something else. Fine.
Yeah.
But I think the thing a lot of coaches don't understand about using models and using tools is that you can just use them to ask better questions
Mm.
instead of the and a lot of newer coaches, when I mentor a lot of coaches, will say, how do I ask better questions? Well, the more models we know, the more it's going to occur to us, oh, that model can inform a really good question.
Mm.
And then, of course, maybe it isn't a good question, but it often is. And
It's
sometimes it's
funny.
just, no, go
Yeah.
ahead.
It's funny what we think are, sometimes we ask a question and we're like, in our head, we're like, okay, that was pretty lame. And the client lights up and is off and running because they hear something else. or it
Yeah.
resonates with them in a different way.
Yeah. It's true.
So in the article, you mentioned a few models, but and again, this is beyond the page, what other models would you like to talk about, or do you use often?
Well,
Like,
I'm a lover of tools, you know. I just am. I have a pair, my husband teases me because I have a pair of scissors, you know, where we open the mail, two different kitchen scissors. You know, I because trying to open a package or do something where scissors is the best tool. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm a cook, so I don't love I
Oh,
don't know, I don't love a ton of kitchen gadgets, but I do like the exact right tool
the
for the job.
right tools.
And I love tools, so I love models. And the whole tools models thing started for me because maybe it was a mentoring situation with a coach. I don't remember. But I brought up, I was like, oh, that sounds like, you know, you might want to share the Johari window with the client. And the coach said, what's the Johari window? And this person was not 25, right? This
Mhm.
person had an advanced degree, probably in business, not in OD or so they didn't know what the Johari window was. And I was like, you got to know that. It's
Mhm.
really old, to be fair. It's an oldie but goodie. No one's created anything, in my humble opinion, that's better.
Mhm.
So, pop quiz. Do you know what the Johari window is?
I know of it, but I couldn't recall it instantly. I'm in my head, I'm going, oh, I better look this one up. And it'll resonate, but it's not obviously not one of the tools that comes to mind when I'm coaching.
Fair enough. And I was just like, how many? And so I started asking all of our like Blanchard coaches, do you know what the Johari? And I don't want to make people wrong or catch people out, but I was curious. And a lot of
Mhm.
people didn't know it. And you know what? I didn't know it at one point. And obviously, and someone told me about it.
Yeah,
And now all you just Google it,
yeah.
and there's a million versions of it because the people who created it did not try to protect their intellectual property. God bless them.
Hmm.
But it's basically it's another classic four-box model, and it's basically what what do I know about myself that I'm willing to share with others? What do I know about myself that I really don't share with others? What do I not know about myself that other people know? Like it's
Mm.
obvious to everyone but me. And then what do I not know about myself? Well, now I can't remember the four things. But the right,
Google it,
the
Madeline. Google it.
but the yeah, perfect. But the idea is you want to expand that window, the box that is what I know about myself that I'm willing to share with others.
Yeah.
Kind of because especially working in organizations with leaders, does this matter to everyone we work with? Probably. But it's like the more congruent we can be, like what you see is what you get,
Hmm.
you know, without allowing our flaws,
Mm.
moods, unmet needs, right, to interfere too much. And people are like, oh, you're so authentic. I'm like, I'm so glad you think so. But but it is true. It's like if you're able to show most of yourself, with the to the people you're working with and trying to accomplish things with, there's just a much more likely, greater likelihood that people are going to trust you and
Mm,
forgive you, right? Your sins, your flaws,
yeah.
especially if you apologize, which I happen to do a fair amount.
Oh,
Um, so
we're
that's the
Canadian.
Johari
We're
window.
Canadian. We're always saying I'm sorry. We don't even know why anymore.
Yeah, just I apologize for having woken up today and being myself. Yeah, but
Uh,
so that's one of the all-time great tools.
yeah.
Of course, the Blanchard companies, Blanchard Leadership, we changed our name like 4 years ago, and I still can't get my head around it to just Blanchard. But one of the things that's made our company so great is we have some of the all-time great, simple, so very complex ideas expressed in a simple way. Do you know how hard it is to get thinking through the complexity and to simplicity? And that's what I love about models,
Yeah. Well,
right?
in that Johari window one, just describing those four quadrants were the questions. That's you don't even have to say it's a Johari window. You can just say, "I'm curious, you know." Well, I hate saying I'm curious. That's overdone, but what do you know? What do you think others know about you that you don't know? What a great question to ask a leader.
Right? And so many times the clients have gotten feedback,
Hmm.
right? This is the topic of a session. It's like, well, often it's the results of some kind of multi-rater 360.
Hmm.
I mean, you could do a whole conversation about that. I'm a fan-ish, but I think they're often overused, misused, poorly used, etc. Because often feedback says, right, as much about the person giving it, if not more, than the person receiving it. But when people get feedback, the conversation is, so what? What does that mean to you? What can you do with that? What if it were true? What would the implications of that be? Why would it matter? What would matter about that to you? So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think,
what if it were true? What if it were
what
not
if it were
true?
true?
Well, what if it were not true? What are you making it mean? What could you make it mean? How could
Yeah,
this serve you? How is it not serving you? Oh my gosh, it says those assessments.
right?
You don't need to be an expert in assessments. You just need to be an expert working with your client to ask them what they think about the darn assessment.
It's so true. And many of us, including myself, we spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting certified in these assessments. And some of them are opaque enough that you actually do need to get certified.
Mhm.
Not always a huge fan of those, but and the sponsors and organizations kind of feel strongly that they want the coaches to be certified in whatever instrument they're
Mhm.
using, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go down that road. But what is one of your favorite coaching tools, Gary, that you tend to
You know what's come up
use?
lately that's weird? Acronyms. And it really stops the client. So we'll be talking and they'll say, well, I'm not good with silence and I want to keep telling my employees what to do rather than ask them because they're looking for a coach approach for themselves, let's say. And one of my client, and I get this all from my clients, wait,
Wait,
WAIT. And they
wait.
go, what? Why am I talking? And then the one that resonates for the Eisenhower model is win. What's important now? And we've had some
Love
fun
that.
with that with a client yesterday. And what was concerning him was that he was carrying these thoughts and all this work stuff home, and he wasn't able to be fully present. but he bought into the win. So we created wit. We created it. And so wit is what is important today and what is important now. And so it was kind of like it worked out that it was an end of the day closure piece. Oh, sorry. What's important tomorrow? Wit. I knew it didn't sound right.
What's in, well,
What's important tomorrow? So basically pause, take a moment to go, what do I think I need to focus on tomorrow? Great. Write it down, do whatever. You can now try putting that aside, go
put it
home,
aside.
and then the next day take a look at that list and say, okay, so what was important yesterday? Is that now important now? So we go back to win. So win at the beginning of the day. So he's going to try this little game. And I guess when you
I
ask
love
that
that.
question, I'm more like having games with clients,
Yeah.
right? Than, so how many times in the next 2 weeks between our calls will you be able to leave work at the hour you wish? And they'll make a game of it. And I'll say, remember, we'll celebrate success and we'll have a conversation about if for whether or not it didn't work. And there's beauty in both. Because
Yes.
that the worst thing I want to do is set up a client to be scared to come back because they didn't accomplish what we agreed they were going to accomplish, right? And I always say
With their
yes, no.
tail between their legs.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
like to say yes, no, this is yes, no, renegotiate time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another game, right? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take that one on. And they come back sometimes and I remember one client and he had to challenge and he worked from home and was on the road. So he didn't have an office to go to. And the office, the computer, and the work phone were separate from the rest of the house and his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I want to spend more time with my girls. And they were like 8 and 10 at the time. And I said, okay, so when would you like to not be on doing any more work anymore and leave it all behind? Because he can leave it in that room and just go away. And he told
Nice.
me, and
Yeah.
I said, okay, great. I would like you to allow your daughters that at the set hour, they can say, Dad, it's time. Well, he did that. He said, we had the most amazing time. We had fake snowball fights. We did this, we did that, and basically just said,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
So you make it a game, you play with what's around, and oh, the joy for them and for me to try something. It's simple. Hold on, did we not talk about simple? Just like really something simple. You want to spend time with your girls? Help them be accountable.
The ultimate accountability buddies.
Yeah, because they're like, I'm watching, Dad. We're watching.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think you're right about, I love the idea of setting the whole thing up as a game. And because the last thing we want to do, right, is make have our clients feel like all the coaching stuff is just more stuff to
Yeah.
do and more stuff to fail at. And that's the last thing we need. And
Yeah.
a lot of people think that's what coaching is. I remember I met a client kind of outside of a outside of his company, outside of a coaching environment. I don't, maybe it was like an industry thing. And he introduced me to someone. He said, "Oh, this is Madeline. She's my coach. She kicks my butt." He said it differently, but I know we're not editing. So, and I looked at him, I was like, what are you talking about? I have, I have never, ever d- kicked your butt. That's crazy talk. And I said, well, okay, just because that's the way you feel,
Right.
I said, I would, then that's fair enough. But I said, the person kicking butt here is you, not me. And he laughed. And, these are distinctions our clients don't actually care about. If they
Hmm.
want to make it that we're kicking their butts, fine.
Hmm.
We're not. They are.
No. Yeah.
But they want to make us the
Well,
bad guy or
it's like
whatever.
how many times I've had clients come back and go, I took your advice. And I'm like, huh? And it turns out that
What
they
advice was
heard
that?
yeah, well, they heard our conversation and themselves agreeing, or we, came to a conclusion, and they saw that as advice. And I've
Yeah,
stopped even trying because it's just like it's you know,
right, right.
but
You're right,
no,
because
and
it,
you
it
asked what
doesn't
were my
really
favorite.
matter as long
Yeah,
as
yeah, they
they get the
they are
outcomes they're
getting
looking
benefit.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I'll say,
Well, you
it
asked me
was
earlier
your
about.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It
You
was
asked me
your
earlier
idea.
about favorite. Yeah, what
Yeah, yeah,
about back to coaching? Favorite. You wrote it right in the article. Coaching questions.
yeah.
Just simple. And the whole article is about classic coaching tools. Well, hello, questions. And so we've evolved around, circled around, and added this into our conversation today. But it just boils down to what did you say that really, um, oh, one of the first things a coach can offer a leader is uninterrupted time and a quiet space to hear themselves think. And I think, when we're talking about some of these clients that it's like coaching is just another thing to do. I had one client yesterday, he said, I had three other things booked on top of this. And I said, well, I'm honored that you chose me. Why? And he explained to me that this is almost the same thing as you wrote here, to hear themselves think, to pause, to reframe, to just get away from the noise before they go back into the noise. I love our job. It's not a
I know.
job. That's the thing. My mom says, my
No.
mom stopped asking, my mom's 94. My mom stopped asking me, when are you going to retire? And I said, well, I'd have to have a job before I could retire. And I don't have a job. I coach.
Ah, I know. It's true. It's good work. It's good work. And we're lucky
It's
to
good
be able
work
to
if
do
you
it.
can get it. There's a jingle from a TV show or something.
And I'm glad you sang it and not me because that's where I was going.
Well, that's as far
Two
as I will
musical
go.
theater dorks
Yep. Never,
podcasting.
always a audience, never the participant. Love it that way. Madeline, we could talk forever about all this, but we're going to have to start wrapping up. What would you like our audience to do as a result of the article and this conversation?
Well, I think coaches are who were excited about these tools, the tools we talked about, and who want more. I think there are a couple books that I've stumbled over,
Mm,
in my many decades. I hate to date myself too much. One of them, and I joked earlier about the fifth discipline, the actual
mm.
book by Peter Senge, which is it's a little more complicated than we want things to be for normal people of regular intellect, aka me. But they did create the fifth discipline field book, and
Mm,
it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. There are amazing tools in there, especially for people who work with leaders and people who work in organizations. So that's one thing. That's one of the great kind of texts that I would recommend. There's also on total opposite side a teeny weeny little book like this big, and it's black. And I think it's called The Little Book of Models. Again,
oh, not heard of
it's
that one.
so fun. And I couldn't even tell you the authors because the authors are barely even, they're more like the editors. They just collected
Mm,
all
the
these amazing,
curators.
Yes, that's the word. And it's just, I mean, it is my idea of fun. And they actually, in the flyleaf, they create an XY continuum, the classic four box
Mhm.
model. And they put all the models in the book on in different places in the models. Like, is it about self-awareness or awareness of others or something like that? It's very,
Uh,
very tongue in cheek, but incredibly useful. And then the other great book, oldie, and I hang on and I share these older books because they go out of fashion
mm.
and so goes the knowledge. And some things need to be kept alive. So they just did the 25th anniversary edition. Now I really am dating myself of The Artist's Way.
Oh,
Do
right.
you
Yeah.
remember that? You might not
Yeah,
be
for
old enough.
sure. Oh, please. It's been around for that long, and so have
Right? And I
I.
I was just starting coaching when that book took the New York artistic community by storm. We were doing Artist Way groups. We had so much fun. And Julia Cameron it's like a 12-week program to reclaim your own creativity. And you
Mm,
know what? It's just as relevant today as it has ever been.
yeah.
And it's genius. And I use a bunch of tools from her 12-week program. Not all of them, but many of them for myself and for my clients. So those three resources I highly recommend. Go order them from your secondhand bookstore,
Right. Local
your
bookstore.
local bookstore.
Yeah. I always try to buy local first.
I know
But
because
if
the
I have
company
a
that shall
rule,
not be named,
yeah. Yeah, I have a
make it
rule. If I can't find, I try three local places. If I can't find it on my way out, I'm on my phone to that place we don't name.
okay. Good rule.
But books, we still have a Canadian book conglomerate called Chapters Indigo.
Oh
And so
yeah.
we can still buy Canadian even though the books are from all over the world, right? So
Oh, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So cool. Madeline, thank you so much. What's the best way for folks to reach you should they want to know more?
Oh, um, I'm on LinkedIn.
Oh, perfect.
I think I'm still Madeline Homan on LinkedIn. I was an
Okay.
early adopter.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
they don't let you hyphenate your name later.
they might, but
Yeah.
I just I
As
only
long as you
just
get two of
realized
the
that.
three names, you're good, right?
I think, yeah, you can find me. Blanchard website, my name, Madeline.Blanchard at Blanchard.com. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Oh
thank
my
you.
gosh. Thank you so much for joining us for this Beyond the Page episode. I really appreciate it.
Happy summer.
That's it
Or
for this episode of Beyond the Page. For more episodes, subscribe to your favorite podcast app, Apple, Spotify, they're all there. If you're not a subscriber to Choice Magazine, you can sign up for your free digital issue by scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner of my screen. If you're listening and not watching, and you're no longer driving, you're off the treadmill, you can get your free issue by going to choice-online.com and clicking the Sign Up Now button. I'm Gary Schleifer. Enjoy the journey of mastery.